Welcome, everyone. We were really hoping to be able to greet you in person today, and while we're very close to that point, we're counting on the energy and excitement about Vanessa Behan's mission to keep going until we see you all next year. We can't thank you enough for joining us today. And as you'll learn, because of you, our supporters and partners, Vanessa Behan has been keeping hope afloat for families since this pandemic. I'm Stephanie Vigil with KHQ. I'm very proud to be your host today. I have been an advocate and champion of Vanessa Behan for years now because since its inception, Vanessa Behan has been the embodiment of our community caring for its children. Well, today we're sharing with you how Vanessa Behan has supported families during the pandemic and how you can keep hope afloat. And as a special reminder, please share what you're seeing today on social media. And if you're with your colleagues, a friend, or a family member, we would love to see a photo of how you're participating. Just use the hashtag VBLunch. Also, Amy Vega, the executive director for Vanessa Behan, she'll be doing a live Q&A at the end of the program. You can submit your questions now via YouTube chat. Well, before we begin our program, I'd like to recognize all of the sponsors of this event. First and foremost, our presenting sponsor, the Wolf Company. Champion sponsors, Dishman Dodge, Ram, Chrysler, and Jeep. The Kalispel Tribe of Indians and Northern Quest Resort and Casino. Corporate sponsors, STCU and McKinstry. And support sponsors, Columbia Bank and Northwest Orthopedic Specialists. And our table sponsors, Banner Bank, Mist Inc., and NAC Architecture. Thank you all so much, all of you, for participating and for being our sponsors. And we are especially grateful to these partners for their commitment in supporting this event, whether it was in person or virtual. There are several businesses that we would like to acknowledge today for their help. Women's and Children's Free Restaurant. If you got your chicken salad sandwich, thank you so much. It looks so delicious. For partnering with us today, thank you to the Women and Children's Free Restaurant and for all you do to nourish the families at Vanessa Behan. Many of you, see, I think I'm getting hungry right now. Many of you ordered lunch from them today, so thank you for that. Hamilton Studios, where I'm at right now, they've been an incredible supporter and partner in sharing our messages for years. The Hamilton staff is streaming this event proudly. Right now, I know that every single one of them has smiles on their faces. And of course, our media partner, KHQ, for their continued commitment to Vanessa Behan. We encourage you to invest in and support local organizations that champion our community's children through their commitment to Vanessa Behan. Thank you, sponsors and partners, for your investment in our children. We'd also like to thank our Luncheon champions. We would not be able to reach out, and our goal of helping nearly 600 kids without your willingness to champion Vanessa Behan's mission virtually. So from the bottom of our hearts, thank you so very much. And before we share about the state of Vanessa Behan, for those of you who are new to our mission, well, our founder and his wife, Janie, they have a story to share with you right now.
On January the 9th, 1982, Vanessa K. Behan was killed at her home at the hands of her mother and stepfather. Actual cause of death was peritonitis from a ruptured intestine that was the result of a severe blow to the abdomen. She also had numerous other severe injuries related to abuse, physical abuse. At 2 years of age, her last days were filled with agony and pain. Nobody was held accountable for her death. I was disturbed. It was disturbing to me. And my wife said, well, if it bothers you that much, why don't you get involved? And so I did.
Bill had taken a trip. We heard about Vanessa's death. And he was in Phoenix, talked to some friends. They said they had a nursery. So he went to look at it, and he said, when I get home to Spokane, I'm going to get involved with their nursery. Well, there wasn't one. So he got some friends together, formed a board, took 5 years. We opened our doors.
When we first started out, it was very small. We wanted to memorialize Vanessa Behan. Her death is the reason why we're all here. Since our inception, we've taken in 106,000 children. That's half the population of Spokane.
But right now, we just continue to need Spokane support, each individual. The potential for what we can do for kids that's here is beyond belief.
Good afternoon. For those of you that are new to us, I'm Amy Napton Vega, Executive Director for Vanessa Behan. Thank you for joining us today as we continue to keep hope afloat while once again holding our annual luncheon virtually. We miss seeing you in person and anxiously await the day we can gather 1,200 people together. There is so much to share today and so little time that I'll dive right in. Several months ago, I was part of a virtual meeting for crisis nurseries across the country. As everyone shared how they reacted to the pandemic, I learned that we were the only ones in that meeting that kept our doors open to children and families from day one. Truthfully, it hasn't been easy. Yet, doing the right thing rarely is. It is a testament to our staff, volunteers, and our community of supporters that we can say we did it. And we continue. As we shared last year, we knew that our families were now facing new and unimaginable stress. We needed to be there for them in that moment, to remain available and, as always, non-judgmental. We also knew that we would have to adapt to protect everyone's well-being. Our family appointments, new and existing, moved entirely to the phone. Our community entrance was locked, and we could allow only one community member in at a time. Volunteers masked up and sanitized all day long as they braved the risk of handing out diapers and wipes to parents who could not find them anywhere else. And after the school closures began, we immediately started serving children up to the age of 12. In fact, I'm amazed and proud to share that because of our staff and you, in 2020, we served 512 children between 7 and 12 years of age. This is just the beginning of the impact your support had. I am pleased to now have some of our amazing staff and volunteers share personal stories of how they kept hope afloat in 2020. Because of you. Take a look.
We started taking older kids shortly after school closed down. That had always been on the radar when we moved into the new building. We anticipated that coming with time. We did not anticipate the pandemic. But once the schools closed down, there was understandably concern about the potential rise in abuse and neglect in the community. Teachers are a huge advocate for children, and really for a lot of kiddos, they're the eyes that see some of the signs and make a lot of the reports. And all of a sudden we had schools full of children that didn't have that anymore. And so a decision was made to go ahead and move immediately into bringing older kids into our care. We certainly weren't prepared for it per se. I think it was somewhat abrupt for us. Taking care of older children definitely involved a transition for all of us. The developmental level is completely different. We're really fantastic at taking care of 0 to 6-year-olds, but every kid aged out when they, on their 7th birthday. And so we really rolled with it initially. I think we were caught off guard sometimes, even things like communication. Thankfully, we have a building that was really built to support that. We have a room that's dedicated to older kids, a clubhouse where they got to hang out and had was really prepared for that population of kiddos. We have done a lot of more Uno than we have ever played in our history at Vanessa Behan. We make cookies. Kids hang out on beanbags in the clubhouse. There's a cool factor with older kids that we haven't navigated before with our younger kids that are really give themselves permission to speak freely about what they think and what they want. It's actually opened up a lot of conversations that we've been able to have with them. Everything from dealing with a bully at school to coming alongside them with schoolwork, where they get to a place where they're comfortable enough to admit that they struggle in a particular area or with a particular subject. But they've really been great sports too, of just rolling with an environment that's very different from school. They certainly had the consistency of a school setting and a school schedule. And one of the things that changed with the pandemic is that consistency was removed. They did an amazing job of rolling with that and embracing us as well. I was out in our gross motor area one evening. It's our big area where kids can be active inside. And there was an 11-year-old girl out doing cartwheels. And I explained to her that one of my goals this year, randomly, is to do a cartwheel. I've never done a cartwheel. She took me on as her star pupil and walked me through every step of the cartwheel, demonstrating it at each step, got done and turned to me and said, "Okay, now you try." I knew that my response to this 10-year-old girl's invitation and encouragement is something that had the potential to stay with her and impact her ability and her willingness to try new things. I did the world's worst cartwheel. She looked at me and said, "You did such a good job. That was so good." I was so struck in that moment that she not only was willing to teach me, but she believed in the possible. You know, I've spent 20 years with Vanessa Behan believing in the possible for our kids. And that day, an 11-year-old girl teaching me to do a cartwheel returned the favor. One of the things I often compare working with children from abuse and neglect with is, that it feels like taking on a mountain with a spoon sometimes. It can feel lonely and overwhelming. We were all living fairly isolated lives. That mountain just seemed to grow bigger. But when we put our need out to the community, the things that we needed to care for older kids, at a time when everyone's lives were upturned, people turned out and people showed up and people provided what we needed. The response by the community in the middle of all of that, over all of these months, has been such an encouragement because I have had opportunity after opportunity to be reminded just how many people are out there holding spoons, and I couldn't be more grateful.
It definitely has changed since the pandemic has started. We transitioned from doing appointments in person with families to doing them over the phone, but that did take away a good portion of the communication we're able to have with families. Having someone physically there with you in a room to just sit and talk about what it is that's going on is really powerful and really helpful to a lot of people. We've been able to form a lot of new relationships with families since the beginning of the pandemic. The support goes in a lot of different directions and can be helpful in a lot of different ways. Obviously, it is really hard, to reach out for help for the first time ever, potentially. Encouraging them and just letting them know, like, everybody needs that, like, that's okay to ask for help. A good portion of our families are newer to the area and might not have that social support yet built. So sometimes even we're just that person to talk to just call and just say, hey, like, this is like how I've been feeling and what I've been going through, and just to be a person there to just for people to talk to. I think that's been really helpful. I've just really, really loved all the relationships I've been able to form with people, building those connections over time, and kind of, like facial recognition over time, like families kind of get to recognize us, and it's been really good to build that support with people. We're always here, kind of no matter what is happening in life, no matter what the families are facing or going through, like, they kind of know that we are always there at the end of the day. The support goes a really long way.
4 years ago, I dropped into Vanessa Behan to donate some diapers. And I just asked if there were volunteer positions available. They had a place right away that they needed a receptionist. I've been there every Wednesday afternoon practically since. I am in love with Vanessa Behan. I love the mission. The mission is to reduce stress on families in order to facilitate less parental stress and therefore less child abuse. We know parenting is so hard to begin with. We know all parents need a break from time to time, and they can call Vanessa Behan and have their children left for up to 3 days. Vanessa Behan takes complete care of them, from providing clean clothes, food that they need. They take care of them at night. They each have their own bed. The staff is just so amazing, so informed about how to care for kids in a very benevolent way. We often hear at the receptionist desk about how people have lost their jobs during the pandemic, how they haven't been able to apply for another job because of the pandemic. And so they're at a loss about what options are available for them. So we can provide a list of options for them, from giving them the diapers and wipes. And we are very supported by the community in Spokane. It's just heartwarming to see how much it means to people that they know there are others out there that are willing to share with them. The families that have come in have been so grateful, especially during the time when wipes were so difficult to find. I'm so lucky to be a volunteer there. I receive so much more than I ever facilitate. Almost all of us have been in a place where we've needed help, and somebody has been there. Now that a lot of us are in a place where we can help others, it's so gratifying to be able to do that. If somebody really wants to do something that they feel like will really make an impact, this is it. Supporting Vanessa Behan and providing money for diapers, formula, for in-house childcare. This is it. It doesn't get any better than this. We're all in this together. So when we help someone else, when we help a family, when we can reduce stress on a family, it benefits all of us.
The first time I called Vanessa Behan was when my youngest son was 6 or 7. He's autistic, but I did not find out that he was autistic until about a year ago. And my oldest son has some behavioral issues as well, even though he's not autistic. So I called Vanessa Behan because I was having a nervous breakdown. I called them at probably 2 o'clock in the morning. I hadn't slept in what felt like days. The kids weren't sleeping. They got us right in and were very helpful. My son only stayed a few times, but my daughter has been going there probably weekly or almost weekly since birth. She always comes home and tells me what she got to do, what she got to play or eat, or the new book she's got, or whatever little goodies she gets to come home with, because she usually comes home with something. The kids are safe. They're well taken care of. They'll get baths if they need baths. They get fed. If there's dietary restrictions, they follow those. My daughter loves going there. So I don't think there's anything to fear. You know, Vanessa Behan's been there the whole way, and I'm an addict in recovery. So I've had a lot of big struggles and also have trauma myself. So I've had to work through a lot as a parent, a single parent at that. There's been times where I just feel like I haven't slept in a week and need a few hours to do yoga or take a nap or whatever. And they will even suggest, hey, how would you feel? Do you need to put in an extension? I get that couple extra hours, which can make or break a single parent. They have helped support me in my journey. You know, like I said, if I don't check in with them, they check. I've had them call me at home just to check in sometimes if they haven't seen us in a while or whatever. You know, they're really good about saying, how are you doing? You know, or do you need a break, or whatever the case may be. My youngest son, I think, has the biggest triumph. He, having autism and whatnot, I used to ask him, beg him almost to take 3 deep breaths with me. You know what I mean? Just 3. Let's calm down. Let's do whatever. And he struggled and struggled and struggled. And about the time recently that I started meditating and had some kind of internal flip happen, he started meditating and doing yoga, and he'll lay down and do 30-minute meditations with me now. And that's huge for a kid with autism, or even a kid that won't take 3 deep breaths. I literally do not know what I would do without Vanessa Behan as a single mom who hasn't always had any support system, or a very big one at that. Having 2 boys that are behaviorally challenged, one is autistic, and then having a young toddler has not been easy. Vanessa Behan has almost always gotten us in if I've needed something, whether it be self-care, doing yoga, or have appointments, or I just need a break. Vanessa Behan has been my lifeline.
Thank you, Siobhan, Tethra, and Janelle, for sharing your stories of support and hope. I am proud you are on our team and impacting the lives of our children and their parents each and every day. And thank you, Alicia, for sharing your story. While we have kept hope afloat in 2020, together we need your help to continue supporting our families like Alicia's and carrying out our vision for the future. I'm excited to share that we have a lot on the horizon for 2021 and beyond. We continue to work toward bringing in more children, as that is exactly why we are in our new home. But we are also striving to build deeper supports for our parents. We are moving forward with plans to deepen wraparound services for our families, including our drop-in area, which will provide real-time parenting coaching, relationship building, and expanding community connections. We are also close to finalizing collaborations with several community partners to provide on-site services like counseling, parent and child therapy, and additional parenting classes. What we need from you is continued support and encouragement to make it all happen. Being completely dependent upon private financial contributions means that we are in this together, and it's your investment that makes it all happen. Please join us in keeping hope afloat.
It's safe to say that miracles are performed every day under the roof of Vanessa Behan. So thank you, Amy, for sharing. And thank you to all of our volunteers, staff, and parents for working together to protect our children. Now, here to share more about how you can help is Vanessa Behan champion and chairman of the Board of Trustees, Jennifer O'Callahan.
Hi, my name is Jennifer O'Callahan. I'm chair of the Board of Trustees at Vanessa Behan. My day job is Senior Vice President of Marketing and Analytics at Numerica Credit Union. But the most important job I've ever held is being mom to my beautiful and brilliant 4 kids. I first got involved with Vanessa Behan 16 years ago when I was a mother of a young child. The stories of how this organization helped families and kept little babies and children safe moved me. That's why I choose to support Vanessa Behan. One evening, after hugging my baby close to me and thanking God that my husband and I had a great support system, I swore I would do really anything Vanessa Behan ever asked of me. And that is why I'm here. That baby, by the way, is leaving for college in the fall. This afternoon, you've seen just a small sampling of recent inspiring stories. I could probably tell you hundreds more. Stories of single parents juggling to try to make ends meet and having no support system whatsoever to turn to for any help. Stories of stress and fear and exhaustion and hopelessness, and brave parents who say, I just need a break. For one day, I just need some help. You would then see just how Vanessa Behan positively impacts the lives of families and keeps children safe. You, as supporters of Vanessa Behan, have given generously year over year because you all thought, this is important. This is something that I feel driven to support in some way. This is something that our community needs. And I, for one, along with all of the previous and current members of the board, are extremely grateful to you. Your support ensures that an extraordinary group of people get to do good in the world, get to make lives better, and get to ensure that our children, our most precious gifts, are cared for, safe, and loved. This year, you have kept over 5,500 children safe. Because of you, 5,500 children played dress up, were sung to and rocked to sleep, were encouraged, praised, and loved. And that was during a pandemic when the staff were stretching themselves to observe every protocol. And sometimes we had to reduce the number of children we served due to staffing. Sadly, we did have to turn away more than 1,200 children this year. So here is where I come to the ask. I ask for you to support Vanessa Behan right now by joining the Vanessa's Promise Society. Simply put, Vanessa Promise Society is our backbone. We rely on the consistent monthly or annual commitments when we decide how many children and families we can serve in a year. Being a Promise Society member starts at only $30 a month, and the additional levels are listed on the screen. For the price of a few cups of coffee, you can quite literally change a child's life. If you're already a Promise Society member, thank you. It's because of your commitment that Vanessa Behan continues to work through you to keep kids safe. Please make your annual gift today. Please consider increasing your commitment. If every Promise Society member just gave an additional $5 a month, 65 more children would be kept safe this year. You can make your gift online right now by heading to vanessabehan.org/luncheon and click on donate, or go to your Champions fundraising page. Simply give as much as you can to support Vanessa Behan. Please also spread the word on social media and with family and friends so that we can reach our goal. Sharing what you heard today and the impact Vanessa Behan has on our children is another way to support our work and spark the generosity of others. Thank you again for your time today and for your support of Vanessa Behan.
If there's any one thing I know about this community, it's how giving and caring you are. So thank you all. Of course, we have a goal to reach, and we're hoping to do that today and do that, of course, with you. Jen, thank you so much for the reminder of how impactful everyone's support is and how easy it is to join the Vanessa Behan Promise Society. Champions, you'll have until June 14th to reach your fundraising goals. So spread the word and the message. And thank you to our friends at STCU. The top fundraiser by the 14th will receive 2 $25 restaurant gift cards. And the videos that you've seen from this program, they'll be available at vanessabehan.org/luncheon to share with your family and friends and colleagues. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, staff, and children we serve, we extend our gratitude to our sponsors for today's event. Thank you to the Wolf Company, Dishman Dodge Ram Chrysler Jeep, the Kalispel Tribe of Indians and Northern Quest Resort and Casino, McKinstry, STCU, and all of our sponsors for supporting this event. We are also very grateful to all of you who've spent part of your day with us. You are helping Vanessa Behan to continue to keep hope afloat. So if you're staying with us for the live Q&A, and we invite you to get a question because Amy Vega is going to be answering it. She's the executive director, if you haven't met her yet, and it will follow momentarily. So everyone stay safe, take care, and we hope to see you live next year.
All right, well, the scripts are gone, and here I am to answer questions, so please be submitting those. It's a great opportunity to feel like, while we're not in person, I still get to connect with you a little bit, so thank you for posting these questions. I appreciate it. So our first one is, when do our expanded programs start? And so I'm really excited to say that we're in the process of signing our memorandum of understandings with 2 organizations so that we can get some programs started inside our new facility. Back in December of 2019, when we moved into our brand new facility, we thought we would be starting those programs right away. And we had to scale back and really take some time. And so we've just now gotten all those partnerships started back in there. And I'm so excited to say that stay, play, and learn, where parents can drop in and get some in-the-moment coaching, hang out, build some relationships, do some activities. We're hiring for that position right now. And then our 2 organizations that are going to come in and do some counseling and therapy and different programs for our children and families will be starting in the next couple of months as soon as they get their positions hired, and our rooms are set to go right now. So we're super excited about that. And one thing I will say is we would love to invite any of you up to visit. We are in the position where we can start reopening our doors a little bit. And so if you want to see firsthand the impact you're helping us make, just give us a call or reach out to us. We'd love to show you around. Okay, another question. Do we have any live in-person events scheduled? Can't we all wait? We fortunately had to make the decisions pretty early on because the amount of time that it takes to plan an event can be months. And so we really have taken the next couple of events. This one and our next Cheers for Kids will both be virtual events, unfortunately, although we're trying our best to make sure that there's still some connectivity to that. But after that, we should be back in person with our telethon, with our I Give for Kids campaign, Pumpkin Ball, we're hoping will be in person. So we are really looking forward to getting to see people again. But we also recognize the fact that a lot of people are really liking this virtual opportunity. So our friends at Hamilton Studio just today said that they would help us make sure that our events can stay that way. So look forward to this event next year in person, but allowing people that flexibility. All right, it looks like we have another one. What's the biggest lesson Vanessa Behan has learned from COVID? I think we're still learning, candidly. I think one of the biggest things we learned, and I think we already knew this, was flexibility. We live in learning and knowing how to adapt to every situation, to families. Nothing is the same. Everything's very unique that we deal with. And so adapting on the fly has been really something we have been experts at, but this really took it to a new level. I would say our staff is exhausted from this. And so I think they're really looking forward to some summer, some sunshine, getting to take our masks off and breathe fresh air again. So I think that's been some of our big learning lessons that we have had around there. I'm looking to see if we have any more questions. Give it just another minute. Just really want to say thank you to everybody for joining us and again, adapting with us as we have learned these lessons of being flexible. We know you've done that with us and in your own lives. And I think everybody is probably very exhausted. So thank you. All right. Oh, it looks like another question. Amy, tell us how your staff encourages parents to take part in our parenting help classes. Our staff really, first of all, we do this in a lot of ways. One is our staff, as they're talking with families, will share the other opportunities that we have within our facility. But we're also hoping with these partnerships that we have, that these other organizations will be bringing their families in our doors. We think that will do 2 things. One is allow us to get our families connected to these other opportunities, these other programs, and expand the support that we're wrapping around our families. But them bringing in their families will get them connected to our programs and make it not so scary to ask for help. And so we're really excited about this partnership. And then the next question, what sort of volunteers are we lacking at Vanessa Behan? How can an individual donate their time? Lots of different opportunities there. As you heard Janelle talk about our reception desk, we desperately need people at our front desk. And that's a fun job, but you are really running the place around there. You're answering phone calls, directing people, you're helping people get diapers, wipes, formula, anything we have an abundance of, we want to pass on to our families. So really our front desk receptionists are the first line to our families when they call in, when they walk by, when they stop in. And so a really important job. And we are hoping to have 2 at our desk every single shift. So there's 8 shifts a week. There's 10 shifts a week. If I could do my math, I'm a social worker. There's 10 shifts. And so we'd like to have 2 people on all of those. So we're trying to double that. And then obviously working with our kiddos is another great opportunity as well. And then how do you increase your current Promise Society amount? Oh, your monthly amount. That's a really good question, Sherry. You should be able to just to go online and to increase that in your donation. If not, feel free to give us a call and they can help you with that. Oh, and are we currently hiring and how can somebody apply? If so, thank you, Melissa, for asking that question. Yes, like so many people in this community and across the country, we are desperate to hire people. We're really struggling. And the amount of people we have on staff directly impacts the number of children we can care for. So if you know somebody who's interested in applying for a position with us, please send them to our website, vanessabehan.org, and have them look for employment opportunities. And our positions are posted there. And we, like I said, are desperate to have people who want to come in and love on our children. The type of people we are looking for are not people with formal education working with children. We want people who have a heart and a passion for the work we do. We will train the rest. All right. I think we're running out of questions. So with that, and I'm looking at the time and thinking that everybody's ready to get back to work and the rest of their day. So again, thank you so much for being with us. We greatly appreciate it. And we hope to see you live in person next year. If you have questions or things that you want to get involved with, just give us a call at Vanessa Behan. Thanks very much and have a great day.